Welcome to Independent Minds, Expert Ideas, a virtual talk with true experts from all over the globe about how to thrive in a changing world. Today, my guest is ter Wal from the Netherlands. Hey, Paul.
Hi, Christian. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you. This time virtual. We met in many places all over the world so far. I think the last time was in Namibia, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was in Swakopmund, where we founded the Bear Association, the Bear Speakers Association.
Exactly.
Isn't
I
that
remember
amazing?
that. I remember that barely. It was a fun time, and we met in many places all over the world. And the reason why we are talking today is that we have been co-authors, or we are co-authors in our new book, which is called Independent Minds, Expert Ideas. You have it there too. And there are also some other experts. There are also talks with them. And I'm very happy to talk with you today about your background, your expertise, and also your chapter in this book.
Yeah.
So Paul, I know that you are a former company lawyer, but that's nothing you do right now. You're turned into an employability expert and a work health expert. How does that happen?
Well, first of all, I wanted to become a journalist. So when I was young, then we're talking about the 70s, I wanted to be a reporter on TV. So I went to a woman that I knew who was presenting the national news. Then we had only one program, and she was the face of that program. And she said, well, Paul, study law, study history or Dutch. And I love history, but I thought law is, I think, more appropriate. So I started studying law in the 80s, became a lawyer in social security and labor law. Then the big crisis in the 80s came, couldn't find a job in journalism, and started as a company lawyer in a social security organization. And the fun part is that I love doing it because I was going to court defending the decisions of that company. And for me, that was theater. That was presenting on stage. I could do an act as a lawyer. And I know that one of the judges once said to me, Mr. ter Wal, now it's enough. And then I thought, okay, now I've gone too far. So I think it started in that period that I wanted to be a presenter, that I wanted to be on stage. But through that, I became a consultant on social security, on labor law. And then in the 90s, I thought, this is wrong. We are taking care after things happen with people. So when you get ill, you get an allowance. When you are unemployed, you get an allowance. But that's curation. We're not looking at preventing it. So how can we help people not to get sick? Not because sick leave is only 2% point. Average in Europe, it's 5-6%. Now it's 10%. But when it's 5-6% average and medically it's 2%, what's in between? And that has to do with culture, that has to do with engagement, with accountability, with leadership. Is your manager a leader or is he checking the boxes? If he's checking the boxes, he will neglect the people. Yeah. People dislike it, they fall ill, they get a burnout or a bore out or corona out or whatever. And that's when I got interested in that part of prevention. And then I started looking into psychology. And I'm not a psychologist, I just copy what the chief people in the world are saying. But I could create some red line through what I was reading, and And now I'm doing that kind of stuff. So still I help like a pyramid from Maslow. I start on the bottom. Why is sick leave that high in your organization? But we don't look at the illness, but at culture.
Yes.
So why is it that when 2% has to do with illness, and you see it now that less people have other diseases than corona.
Mm-hmm.
So the diseases that we normally have gone down with more than 50%.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that strange? That sick leave goes down when there is something really terrible going on.
Yeah.
That has to do with culture.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the company culture. And then we talk about the unwritten ground rules. That's the way we do things around here. And we try to identify those unwritten ground rules, try to help the company to get better core values. So we call it the non-negotiables and say, okay, this is non-negotiable for us, but how are the employees? Because they have a set of core values as well.
Yes.
So how do they align? And then we are having the real conversation within companies. And we call it prevention or working on employability or engagement. And you can use all kinds of words. And a lot of people call it leadership.
Yeah.
And for me, it's leadership. And there are so many leadership experts that I step down a little bit and say, well,
from the word,
I'm a work health architect. I try to find out why people get ill at the workplace by working there.
Yeah.
Not the medical, biological stuff, that's for doctors, but the rest.
Yeah. And I think it's a very popular topic also, work health and culture, core values. But when you started with that topic, I think it was completely unusual to talk about that with companies.
Yeah.
Did you experience that too?
Yeah. I think I started with it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And the companies that asked me, because I was the sick leave guru in the Netherlands, so I was called that way on the internet, that just started. And they said, no, let's talk about sick leave. And I said, no, let's talk about core values and non-negotiables. And I learned it from Sam Silverstein in the US, who is an expert on it for many years. And in the Netherlands, it was totally new. People didn't like it. They felt attacked if you said something is wrong with your corporate culture. And you will know it as well. But people love the way they're in. Innovation, change, it's stuff people don't like. On the other end, we know there is change and innovation the whole time. We're all changing the whole day. And
the whole life, yeah.
And if you ask a CEO or an HR director, how would you describe your company culture? Because it's connected to sick leave. They say, oh, no, not today, some other time. Well, then we start with employees and we just talk with them and ask them questions. And what I did and still do is have a group of people that are ill for a long time. Then a group of people that are sick often, so 4 or 5 times a year. And then a group of employees that are never ill. And then we ask the same questions and then we see the differences in the answers and then you see it's about culture. People are feeling ill, they have a headache, they have a hangover, they don't like their boss, but still they go to work. And then you ask, why? You talk about the purpose and their personal purpose. And then suddenly you find the differences. And then you ask them, can you describe, we have a list of 200 core values, pick 20.
Yeah.
And then we connect them and then you see 3 or 4 words and then you see what happens. And that's so much fun. And we have tools now, but when I started 10 years ago, it was just checklist on paper.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to find something to make it work and to work on with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we have amazing tools that you can use and that people can publish anonymously, because they are still scared to say what's going on. But still, when you use this kind of programs, and the CEO needs to address the questions. And that's fun because he has no clue who is saying what. Mm-hmm. And that's fun.
Yeah. And I like the words that you use, non-negotiables, because that said everything about it.
Yeah, the point is that core values sound a little bit...
Yeah, it's something that you put on the wall because someone invented it. It's not that personal.
Oh, the point is, I came 3 months ago in that different era. I came with a client, and in the hall, they had their 10 core values.
Yeah.
And I was standing there, took a picture, and went into the discussion and said, by the way, what are your core values? And nobody knew. And it's in the hall. Yeah. They saw it every day.
Yeah, true.
And nobody could tell me, oh, Paul. And then they said, this one. And so with 5 people, we got 4 or 5 in 10 minutes. Then you see it is not lived by.
Yeah.
It's not in their heads. And Sam Silverstein wrote a book about a bank, the Happy State Bank. And in that book, the CEO was talking with his employees all the time about the family core values.
Yeah.
And the people knew them by heart. And if someone was not living by it, the CEO would say, stop it. This is not true. This is what we agreed on, and you should live up to it. Mm-hmm. And I found out that when you work from non-negotiable core values, that profitability of the organization will go up.
Yeah.
And I call it the 7 keys of talent management engagement. Gallup is doing research on it. And we can really see how it works for people.
Yeah.
And that's fun.
Yeah. But I also think it's getting more complicated to implement these ideas the larger the company is. Because I often feel the core values in the room when I talk with clients from smaller companies, from family-owned companies where everybody knows each other quite well, but not that much in larger companies where you have the feeling that every department has its own set of values, maybe, but it's not that much connected with the company.
Well, I think you're totally right. But I think it should be that way.
Yeah.
Of course, you will have the main purpose from the company. Take a company like Philips. Yeah. But there are other companies that are started as a family business.
Yes.
Grew into an enormous big company. Still, when you look at their main purpose, it's still the same.
Yeah.
Then you get the mission, vision, some turn it around, but I don't mind as long as we get the point. And then you need to focus on the core values, which is needed in that department. Mm-hmm. So you should start, in my opinion, at the bottom.
Yes.
So I have the purpose, mission, vision, and we will have 4 or 5 main core values, and then go totally to the ground. Go to the professionals and
to the smaller groups, to the teams.
And ask them how they see it and how they feel it. Because it may be still connected, but with different words and a different feeling. And if it works in that department or in that team, I'm fine. As long as they are written ground rules and not unwritten ground rules.
Okay. So it has to be visible somehow.
If we agree as 9 speakers that we think this is our core value, then the whole world of speaking can do it differently, but we understand each other and we are accountable, so we can work together. It doesn't mean that number 10 or 11 should have the same core value. They are another group.
Exactly.
But it needs to be clear and it needs to be acceptable.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I like. And Steph Duplessis and Steve Simpson developed the UGR method, and I'm allowed to use it. And that's fun because it made clear this is why we do things around here. This is how we talk at the coffee machine, at the printer, in the hallways. It's why we say the things we say. And you know, new people come into a company and within 6 weeks, they behave like the rest.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they look around and see what's going on and they feel the unwritten ground rules.
Yeah.
But that's different than like Sepos with 1,800 people have 10 family core values and everybody knows them.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. You could go deeper into that topic, and I think it's really, really interesting and also useful for all the company clients out there. And you talk about a model that you created, which is called the value to profit model. Yep. What is the core message there?
The core message is that if you want to be energized in your work, and we all know the burnout and the bore out. It means that if you have energy, and there are 2 resources, and one is you get energy from your work, the things you are doing, what you love to do, and you have a family life, a personal life, which can give or take energy as well. Mm-hmm. So if you can improve both resources of energy, then there will be more engagement instead of creating a burnout. Mm-hmm. So if you don't get energy from your work, so you go to your work with a lot of energy, but you go home and you're completely worn down, then you sit on the couch, take a beer, have some chips, and the next morning you're tired. Mm. Then you get a burnout.
Yes.
So we need to look at those resources. And most of the time I see that we work on the working environment, but not on the personal environment. Because we say, yeah, that's your private life. I can't interfere. No, you can't interfere, but you can support. Yes. If someone is in financial trouble like now, then you need to support somebody, not by giving him money, but by giving him a budget coach who can help him to get through that period. Mm-hmm. If someone is having a mother or a father who is very ill and he doesn't have the energy to come to work, then we need to support them. And in Corona time, we do it now, but in 6 months' time, we have forgotten about it. We rush back to work. So there is a personal resource. There is company resource, and that's combined in core values and negotiables. So if we can make those 2 align, then you will get more energy. And the more energy you have, the more engaged you are, the less mistakes you make, productivity goes up, client satisfaction goes up, and profitability goes up. And then when we are in that flux, we can also do job crafting. So, for example, I hate Excel. I can't work with Excel. It takes so much energy. My son loves to work with it. Mm-hmm. Why should I, with my colleagues, do exactly the same when one loves it, another one hates it? It will cost me energy. The other one gets energy. Give it to him. Let's work together. So then we create the real teams. Then we create team spirit. We get the written ground rules. And we know what core values are, and engagement goes up as well. So That's value, core value, non-negotiable to profit, profitability. And for me, profitability is more than finance.
Yeah.
It's also, do I have the feeling, even with 2,000 employees, that we are a family?
Mm-hmm.
That's profitability as well.
Yeah.
It gives that well-being.
Absolutely.
And that's what I like.
Yes. And you also, in this chapter, you also wrote about employability, a term that was new for me too. So you said that it's important that you not just do your work, do what you have to do, but you said something like it's the ability of a working individual to find added value for himself or herself in his work.
Yeah.
Which is, it's absolutely right, I think, but it's for many companies totally unusual because they expect just do your work and that's what you have to do because that's what we pay you for.
Yeah, but look at the current situation.
Yeah.
Companies are closing.
Yeah.
And it will be more. So unemployment will rise enormously.
Yeah.
And when some political groups are right, we are not going to invest in some sort of businesses anymore.
Yeah.
Now you were working there and your boss told you for 20 years, stick to your work. I'm not going to invest in you personally. Do your job and do it damn good.
Yeah.
Now you're unemployed. And you have no clue what your talents are.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea how the working space around your old, not existing company anymore is like.
Yes.
And you're unemployed for the rest of your life. What I believe in, and you see companies do it, and you have that fake story, like the CFO said, imagine that we invest in people and they leave the company, and then the CEO said, imagine we're not investing in them and they stay.
Yeah.
That's employability.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to do a course that's not useful for his current job, you should still support him. Why?
Absolutely.
Well, at the end of his ability to work in your company, he has an ability somewhere else.
Yeah.
And maybe he will get so much energy from doing that course that he is a better employee now. So it is wise to invest in people, even if they want to start a course for painting. If it gives you the energy to go to work the next day because you loved your evening, then it's different than sitting on the couch drinking beer.
Absolutely.
So that's employability for me.
Yeah.
It's about knowing what you want to do as a person. So talent management is part of it. And the company needs to invest, even if we can't use it today or tomorrow. And the silly stuff that you see, that people are allowed to do a course, costs 5,000 euros, but if they leave within 2 years, they have to pay it back. Stop it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there is no change, there is no innovation. We are not helping people to get a better person.
Absolutely.
And that's part of my program as well.
Absolutely. And I can tell from my innovation perspective that this is crucial for generating innovation, because the people who have ideas are not the people who just do their work. These are the people who are curious and interested in many things and focus on many other things too. And this combination is creating the great ideas that companies need today.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And when it's so clear, and I know you support it, and I know that other in our book support it as well. It's so much fun to see how many links we have. And of course, that's why we work together. But it's so fun to see that we have a different angle, but we see that it's all about innovation. It's all about change. It's all about leadership. And it's about looking further than next year. And
Yeah.
that means that also an employee needs to invest. It's not only the employer.
Yeah.
And that's what we see now, that a lot of employees say, hey, you are my boss, you need to take care of me. No way. No, you have a responsibility as well. So
Absolutely.
and you see in a lot of countries like the Netherlands, Germany, France,
Yeah.
Italy, Spain, people work because they want to retire. And they work towards that date.
Yeah.
And they know exactly how many years and days they still have to work.
Yeah.
That's a wrong opinion. That's created by the labor unions.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them, but it's old-fashioned. It's
Absolutely.
conservative. It's not innovation. You need to look around and see, if you travel like we do and you come in other countries and you think, that's nice. And we spend time looking at it and we take it home and we innovate or change. A lot of people go on holiday to sit in their chair to watch and not innovate. And I think we should stimulate it, spend money on it as companies. So don't tell people what to do, but invite them to do it.
Yeah.
And say, hey, if you want to do it, okay, that's fine. This is your budget. This is the money we are really to spend. So I applaud companies that spend upfront 1,500 euros a year in training, courses, whatever, that you are allowed to choose yourself without asking permission.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we are on top level.
Yeah. And I think we also need to change the structure of organizations and the way organizations talk about the employees. And you said in the nice sentence, a robust enterprise is a community of human beings, not a collection of human resources.
Yeah.
That's something that I wrote in the chapter. And I think that's exactly what it is. And we still have so many people in HR, in human resources, not in human community, for example.
Yeah, but I told a company, they said we can't change the name because then we have to change our business cards. And I said, well,
that's a huge problem, yeah.
I said HR is human relations.
Yeah.
You are there to support the human relations in your company. So you can still be the HR business partner, whatever that is. It's just human being. And Minsberg told it. I'm going to meet him online next week. And he said, I'm not a human resource. I'm a human being. The man who created structures in 5, the man who made hierarchic companies said, I'm a human being.
Yeah.
And that we need to swap around the diagram that we have with in the top the CEO and the normal people down here. No, It needs to be this way. Here are the professionals, and this is the support departments.
Yeah.
And they are supporting the professional, and a professional is everybody who meets clients. Everybody.
Yeah.
So it can be the cleaning lady.
Absolutely.
That's the professional, and we should support professionals instead of human resources.
Yeah.
And that's a change. We call it the Rhineland model. Yeah. And I think it's out there 15 years and we're still not doing it, but companies like Zappos in the US is doing it.
Yeah.
Not Amazon, but Zappos, part of Amazon, is doing it.
Yeah.
And that's fun to see.
Yeah, it's coming more and more all over the world. It's still a little plant growing, but it's growing.
We need something to do, Christian.
You need.
It's our work.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to see these examples and let them grow and let them become successful, because at the end, that is the way how we measure if it works or not.
Yeah.
And I think it's not only about employees, it's also about making companies successful. at the end, because that is creating better results. And yeah.
That's why I connect the human being with the profitability. Otherwise, a CEO or a CFO is not going to invest. And I get it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're only spending money in people and there is no result,
yeah,
of course, you need to work on the continuity, on the future of the company. But also take care of the people in there, because when something goes wrong in your company, that they still have a future.
Yes, absolutely.
And then it's their future. And then they have the energy to go on. And I was surprised that I heard 5 years ago, the first time, about bore out, that you have a lot of capacity and energy, but there is no demands in your work.
Yeah.
And that you can get ill out of it.
Absolutely.
And then I think, but you have a responsibility as human being. And of course, the company needs to take care of you as well. So it's in both their interest to have an open conversation about it.
Absolutely.
So don't look back and see how you functioned in the last year, but look ahead and say, what do you need to thrive in this company, in this world? And how can I support you? Man, that would be an amazing question to ask.
Absolutely. Looking at that model that you created, and at the actual time that we are in, you know, right now we are in the corona situation still all over the world. So people are barely in touch with their teams, with their leadership team, with their colleagues. How does that affect the way people work together from your perspective?
I think as long as this crisis is so actual, it will go on the way it was, because we have, I don't like the word enemy and war and that kind of stuff that some politicians use, but there is a common factor that still gives us the energy to go on. Yeah. So for the coming months, I don't see a problem. There was research done already that productivity is not going down. So on average. And that is because we still hope that in a couple of months, we will go back partly to that old way that we love and we cherish. But when it goes on for another year, we have a totally different situation. And I agree, then we need to work on team building much more than we are doing now. So we need to invest in innovation to get people together. And I think that's a physical togetherness as well. When you see all the research by biologists, you see that the touching, the physical being together, that we need it. So yeah, it will work for 30-40% working from home. The other 50-60% we need to be together. And if we can find a way to do it, even when it's a 2-meter organization, it's still possible. And we are trying to do it in the Netherlands. So you are allowed to go to work when the situation is safe there. And otherwise you have to stay at home. And we see more and more companies reopen and say, please come, because you need that meeting. You need to see each other's eyes, to see your body language, and we can't see it.
Yeah,
we see
absolutely.
The top part.
That's
and
a different situation. Yeah.
So you see a lot of videos about being dressed nicely in the top and then wearing nothing or shorts. But that will be the new normal. That we think, okay, I need to wear a tie now and be online, but as soon as you leave, I can do whatever I like. And I think that will work now because the crisis is still effective. I hope it changes within 6 months.
Yeah.
Because then it will become damaging.
Yeah, absolutely. On the other hand, maybe that could also be a breakthrough for working from home, which could be also added value for your own work, because you can work from a place that you like. Maybe you don't have to be in the office. You don't have to travel there. Some people have to travel for hours to get there. So maybe this is also opening now opportunities for people.
Yeah, but it's only for the white collar people.
Of course, of course.
And when you look at it, this morning in the newspapers, it said that 80% of the companies in the Netherlands are below 30 employees.
Yeah.
So when you talk about banks, insurance companies, that kind of stuff, our job, of course, we can do it from home, but we did it already. But still, we needed that physical contact.
Absolutely.
So that's why I say 30 to 40% will be remotely. The rest will be in companies. Look at the supermarkets, all the shops, the restaurants.
You cannot do that from home, of course.
And they need the contact with us as well.
Yeah.
We are allowed to go to the hairdresser again soon. I'm happy that I had a Corona beard, but because you are going to film me, I reduced it a little bit.
Yes.
But
yeah,
I think it will change, of course. I think we will have less traffic jams between 8 and 10 and 4 and 6. Because people will say, I will come in at 10, have my meetings and leave at 2, and then I can work from home.
Yeah.
Those people need to have a safe environment at home as well to work.
Of course.
You have it, I have it. A lot of people don't. They
Absolutely.
are sitting at the kitchen table. They don't have the lights. They don't have the proper stuff. And I know insurance companies in the Netherlands are giving a working place at home for free for their employees.
Yeah.
And they say, if you accept it, we will pay for it. And a company will come and install it for you.
Yeah.
But then we reduce office time by 50%.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that's going to work, but that's good for banks, insurance companies.
Not for every company.
Not,
absolutely. Not for every organization. Yeah.
I'm happy that it's not working for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's part of it as well.
Paul, one final question. We already talked a lot about changes in this talk, which is also a title of the book. And there are a lot of changes coming up in the world in the next years or the next months even. How do you see the changes in the world right now? And what is your recommendation, especially also from your expert view on that?
Well, what I hope is that we become more aware in the positive sense about what connects us. Because we see a lot of connection now. This morning I heard that it's especially first world countries that have this problem. Third world countries can't stay at home, work from home, so they have a different problem.
Yeah.
But we are talking more about connecting, about the family values. We miss our parents, our children, so we reconnect, and we reconnect with colleagues. And I hope, but it's not my belief yet, that that will stay. That we will stay connected in a different way, like we call the speaker world our family, our tribe. And now I see that we were a special species.
Yes.
I hope that for other people, they can create that community as well.
Yes.
And that will give the connection that we lost over the years by becoming more individually, by being at home, being in our own little cocoon, that cocoon will go open, and that will be a broader family, a broader tribe, a broader connection. because that would create, I think, a better world. That we have more open views, and then we need to skip some precedents who have different opinions. I think what we see now, what happened, that China was producing anything for the whole world. And now we are in the Netherlands, and Germany is doing the same. We are producing the medical supplies that we need in our own country.
Yeah.
Well, still we can work together within Europe to do it for Europe instead of for Germany and the Netherlands, what you see now. So I see next to connection worldwide, also isolation, that we say you are allowed to travel within your own state, but you're not allowed to travel to the Netherlands. I'm not allowed to go to my second house in Germany. That's silly. So on the one hand, we see connection. On the other hand, we see isolation. And I'm not sure which one is going to win.
Yes, absolutely.
So I hope I'm wrong and that we change the positive way, and that we will keep that connection and that focus on human beings.
Yeah.
That would help me very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the thought that it's about creating connections, which is causing time, but not as much time. It's more about creating time well spent together.
It's creating value.
Absolutely. And I think the time that we had here is well spent.
Yeah.
We had a great talk with many insights in your work, and also into the chapter of, your chapter in our book. And I will just hold it here again. If you want to buy this book, if you want to get it and read more about what Paul is saying, I'm pretty sure that you want, then I put the link under the YouTube video, then you can directly access a site where you can see all the details. How can people connect to you, Paul, if they want to do that?
The easiest part, of course, is go to LinkedIn, search my name, Paul ter Wal, and you will find all the contact details there. And of course, I have the website, paulterwal.com, and you will find me there as well. That's the easiest part.
Perfect. I will put also all the links under the video so you can find it quite easily. Thank you, Paul. That was a nice talk.
Yeah.
Again, and I'm very much looking forward to our next live talk when we have a beer to salute each other and to go deeper into all these things.
I hope to meet you in September in Stuttgart.
Yes, that's also the next official date on my calendar. Hopefully it will stay there and be a live meeting. It would be great.
Okay, thank you very much, Christian. It was nice talking to you.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye, Paul.
Goedendag, mijn naam is Paul ter Wal en de groeten vanuit Zwolle in Nederland.
Dumelang ho tswa kwa Afrika Borwa, leina la me ke Ogopoleng Mushi.
Hello, greetings from West Kirby near Liverpool in England. My name is Chris Davidson.
Moin und hallo aus Berlin, Deutschland. Mein Name ist Ilja Gee.
G'day everyone, my name is Lindsay Adams. I'm speaking to you today from Brisbane, Australia.
Hello, and greetings from Erlangen, Germany. I'm Laura Baxter.
Hi, ek is Siegfried Lange. Ek is van Windhoek, van Namibia.
Hello, and greetings from West Wales. My name's Rebecca Jones.
Hallo aus Düsseldorf, Germany. Mein Name ist Christian Buchholz.